Hey guys, it's your pandemic knitter friend Beth from the suburbs of Chicago, and I am here to talk about all the knitting things that I have been into these last few weeks. It has been 4 weeks now since I last recorded, so while I have not finished anything, I do have quite a bit of progress on one thing, maybe a few things. Since it's been 4 weeks, I haven't even looked at the last episode recently, so I don't know where I was on all the different projects I was working on. So it's kind of like it's all new to me. What I'm wearing though is the Sea Haven tee by Jennifer Shiels Toland. And as you can see, this neckline is quite wide, and I am planning to work on this and add an extra collar to it. And in the pattern, she has as an option, you can start with the cast on and just go and leave that as your collar. But she also has, if you want to at the end pick up for the collar and add more, you can do that. And I chose not to do that my first time through because I liked where the collar was laying. But this is a cotton linen blend, so it has stretched over time. And I have actually lost some weight since then, so I'm a smaller human. But I am going to go ahead and now pick up that part and add on. I do want to also mention that one of my viewers in a previous episode where I was wearing this and talking about the wide collar had recommended, I think she linked a video. I could be wrong about that, but I will add a link below to a video to cinch up a neckline without actually adding extra knitting to your neckband, because I thought this was a great tip, something that if I didn't want to invest the time in knitting, this a very simple fix for a collar that would be nice for many people with many different projects. And I even have something that maybe I will use that on, but I'll talk about that in a future episode if I do decide to go with that. Now, I have a lot of progress that I want to talk about. So let's get started with the biggest one. So on my last episode, I had not yet cast it on for my Fosette. So it almost seems silly to be talking about this when I am so close to being finished, but haven't quite finished. I mean, I feel like I should have postponed a day on the podcast episode, but I didn't want to. Well, timing wise, I have other things going on tomorrow, and it's hard for me to record an episode after school on days. Yeah, I don't have the lighting for that. So, this is it. This is my Fosette. I'm so close to being finished. It's a short sleeve tee. It is a cropped top, but I chose to do it not cropped. So this little thing right here, that is a stitch that I did in the wrong color, and it's pretty obvious just looking at it from a distance. So I am going to duplicate stitch over that one stitch to make it match where it's supposed to be. And so I'm on the lower ribbing, so I have almost no excuse for not finishing this before talking about it on a podcast. But I knew I would rather complete it, block it, and wear it than to just not, than anything else. So on my next episode, this will be done. So I don't know if that's a week from now, if that's 2 weeks from now, I don't know what, because I do have some travel plans right at the end of the school year. So, yeah. Anyhow, my Fosette, I'm loving these colors together. Part of me is thinking maybe I went with too many colors. I should have added a neutral somewhere. But I love my colors. I love mixing colors together. I like having a lot of color. And I feel like the depth of these colors is very similar, which makes it maybe where like there's not enough contrast maybe. And I think that's where I'm feeling like I'm missing out on some of that. I know in some of the color work right up at the collar, I made some mistakes, but I chose to not care. And at the bottom, I did add in some waist and hip shaping, and I am also adding some length to the ribbing at the bottom. I believe the pattern recommends 1 inch, and I'm planning to go 2 inches. In fact, I think I'm past 1 inch already. So I do like the length that it is. Let me see if I can step back around my chair and show you, see how, yeah, I think that's gonna hit nicely on me. So yeah, this is my hip bone right here. So this is hitting right at my hip bone, and just 1 more inch makes it so that I can lift my arms without anybody seeing my belly button. So loving this. Devin says it knits itself, and I kind of think that's true. I mean, the interest of the color work, together with the simplicity of the, round and round in the, after the yoke, and it's a DK weight, so it goes pretty fast. Did I say my colorways? I did not, I don't think. It's all Knitty McPurly yarn. Meadow is the green, Beryl is the blue, and Thistle is the purple. So love it. If you're not one of the many amazing knitters doing the Fosette Along 2023, you should really consider it, because it's fun, it's easy, and lots of great techniques. There is stranded color work, mosaic color work, fun stuff. I will say, I'm gonna pull it out one more time. On this part right here, this is where the first stranded color work is. You can even see, like on this, this is textured, so it does bump up, but you can see how much this goes in, because my stranded color work is much tighter than my my mosaic and my stockinette. So I went up 1 needle size for this part, but on the bottom part I went up 2 needle sizes, because I knew that this, you could see the difference in how it lays on me. So I'm hoping when I block it, it's not as noticeable, but I also, again, don't think I'm gonna care. I think it'll be fine. I can live with it all. So that's the Fosette. The other things I've been working on, I have 2, I'm trying to decide where to go. Okay, baby knit. is the Seaside Set by Petite Knit. It's got this cute little button band up the shoulder, part of the raglan increases, and then I love these stripes. Also Knitty McPurly yarn in the Bosque colorway and in the Black Forest Cake colorway, and this is fingering weight yarn. I believe it's her Frankfurt fingering. This is going well. I've shown it before, so I don't feel like I need to get into a whole lot of detail about that, but I am making headway with it. Right now, I feel like, okay, so in my last episode, I talked about March to the Finish. Didn't I? Or did I? Maybe that was the one before that. Oh, no, it was Cast on Itis. It was the one following my March to the Finish, because I was so, like, with March to the Finish, I kind of felt like I have to work on these things. I have to finish these things. And I kind of felt like I was trapped. Like, I gotta do this. I can't work on my other things. I'm obligated to myself to do this. So I felt such a sense of freedom. And now with my knitting, I am once again, I have like a fire under me. Like, I got all these great things I can work on, and I'm just having so much fun with it, because I before I sit down to knit, I kind of look through what I've got, and I'm like, what do I feel like working on today? And I'm having a lot of fun with it. Okay, my next whip. You guys have seen this if you're a regular viewer, and this I talked about in my last episode. This is the Joni top. It is by Natasja Hornby, and what I did with this, the last time I looked at it, I had cast it on, and I held it up to my shoulders, and I was like, this is way too big. So this time I decided to go with the smallest size. I know that my gauge is bigger than what's called for, but I like the fabric that I'm getting with that. So I'm gonna hold this up so you can see. I feel like it's a nice, it's a loose fabric, and it's drapey. And I'm worried that if I go with a tighter gauge, I'm not gonna see the drape that I would like to see in this. I may be wrong about that. I might, I just have the hardest time with gauge swatches. I'm gonna show, I might have talked about this before. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I know I showed my gauge swatch before. And I started, okay, so here, I don't know how well you can see the tightness of the fabric, but here I started with the recommended needle size, and I worked my way up to here, where I ended with a much larger size. I only did 2 different sizes. Wait, let me count. Okay, yeah. If you can see on my knot, I've got on my end, I've got knots to indicate what size needle I was using. But it is a much looser fabric. This was the size 7 needle, and I believe it was a size 4 that was recommended. So, ooh, I'm only seeing 3 knots there. So I don't know if you can see that. Anyhow, maybe I started with a size 3. Maybe I need to land somewhere in between. Because what I did after deciding that the last one was too big, because with my size 7, I did get gauge on this little swatch. That's a problem because I did this little swatch. So I should probably swatch bigger. And I should probably try sizes in between. I know I was not hitting gauge with the requested needle size. But here we go. This one, it hits my shoulders where I would want it to, but I'm now looking at it and seeing that it's giving me that gaping neck hole that my Sea Haven tee has. So I'm wondering if I try a lower needle size, try to get gauge with the lower needle size, that might be a better option. I did not do this in the order that you're supposed to do this. The pattern says to, this is, so the shoulder, I'm loving how these shoulders look. Check out this ribbed stockinette kind of thing. It's fun. Anyway, you're supposed to do the shoulders on both sides on the back, and then connect them, and then knit down, I want to say something like 8 inches. I obviously did not do that because I wanted to check the sizing and to see how, with the front part started, how I would like how it looks on me, rather than get 8 inches down and then check after I attach the front. So I'm thinking I may end up ripping this out again, starting over, maybe try to get gauge. Crazy, I know. So back to the drawing board on that one. And part of it is I am such an indecisive person. And that's why things end up getting put to the side for as long as they do. And sometimes that's helpful for me because I do come back to things eventually. So let's go to socks. All right, first let's start with the vanilla sock. I had all these on the table and I started recording and decided I wanted to start again. I don't know why. I wanted to make it more cohesive. I felt like I was tripping over my words before. I felt like I didn't know the names of designers and patterns and things like that. So I started over. I'm actually able to more expediently and concisely get to where I want to go. So here I am, second recording, and look at these cute watermelon socks. Okay, so this is all the yarn. This is not me. I did nothing but knit round and round and round. This is a vanilla sock pattern, and the yarn is by Brenda and Heather Yarns. I have talked about this many times before. Oh, look how lovely that is together with this shirt. Oh, I love it. I feel like I need to look super dorky and wear these socks with this top and shorts, because I kind of love this together. Anyway, I would never wear high socks with shorts. Just saying. Maybe I'll have enough left over that I can make some shorty socks. Anyhow, they're going beautifully. That's that. But I think the reason that I started to say the thing about recording again is because now I had taken all my whips from the table and put them on the floor. And so now I'm picking things up off the floor. Anyhow, my other socks, my next socks, I should say, because there are 3. I don't usually do multiple pairs of socks at one time, but because I'm doing a patterned pair of socks, this is not just sit and knit without thinking. This one takes a thought process, especially since with this pair, I altered the pattern. You know what? That makes me think I'm going to do the one where I did not alter the pattern, which this one I didn't get a whole lot done since the last time I talked about them. But this is the Fruit Stripe Gum Socks by the designer whose name will be up here. And isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, do I love how that is coming out. It reminds me, and I'm sure the reason that it is named Fruit Stripe Gum Socks is because it looks like those little bracelets we used to make out of the gum wrappers, where they're kind of zigzaggy. Love it. This yarn is Nomadic Yarns, self-striping, and it is in the colorway. I don't know if that's Ami, whatever that is. I don't know if she still carries it, but I love the colors. Blues are totally my thing, but you wouldn't know that by what I have been talking about with my knitting lately, because everything has been green and purple, except for this and those socks. This, when I ordered the yarn, I thought the red part was brown. So apparently, you know how they always say, you know, screen differences can make you think things that are not with colors. That was my problem here. So this is beautiful. I love this yarn. I would, if I were someone who wears yellow, orange, and red together, I would totally wear this. But I don't think these colors are good for my palette. Anyhow, this is a pair of socks that I am knitting for my son's girlfriend. And I am also using the Fruit Stripe Gums pattern, but I've altered it some. And I don't know with the way that this yarn, the color striping is so wavy. I don't know if you can tell as much on the screen, but I've got the ribbing going this way up here. And then I did a stockinette section right here. And then this way the ribbing is going in this direction. So I just thought I'd do something fun and different. I'm experimenting and I kind of like it. It's kind of fun. So yeah, I had to alter things in order to make that ribbing go the other way. But it's fun as someone who knows just enough knitting to be dangerous. I'm having fun experimenting with the different stitches and seeing what I come up with. So I managed to figure out how to reverse the direction of that rib, and it was kind of fun. So anyway, those are my Fruit Stripe Gum Socks. Oh, that colorway was Desert Vista Dye Works, The Kiss. I don't know if she still makes that. That's it for socks. I have one other whip that I've been giving a lot of attention to recently. And like I said, purple and green, that seems to be my thing. And this is no exception to that. This shawl, which I didn't talk about in my previous run of this episode, is Slipdream, and the pattern designer, I'm looking through right now, the designer is here. So this, oh my gosh, look at this loveliness. Okay, I am pretty sure that the last time I showed this, I had been either in the middle of this striping or just finished this striping. And then there was this textured section here. And right now, I may be showing the back of this. I am. Yes. Sorry. So, oh yeah, that definitely shows up a lot better. So, this is the color work section that really drew me to this project. It is a mosaic color work section, and there is a section here in the middle, and then another one that will be at the outer edge of it. So this is such a light and airy shawl. I was not expecting it to be so lightweight. It feels like it is gonna be like wearing just fluff around me. And just look at that. Isn't that cool? Like, I just love this mosaic color work. And it's so fun and easy to do. I'm loving how the purple and green look together. I originally had intended to have the darker purple against this green on the edge. So I don't know how many rows later. But apparently I did not plan correctly for that. But that's fine because this lighter purple will be against the green at the edge then. Now I figured it out. Which, that's fine. Because I would rather not have like the light purple and the dark purple as a contrast to each other, because there's just not enough contrast. It's kind of, even like looking at it together close up, it's hard to tell the difference between this darker purple right here and this lighter purple right here. So anyway, Expression Fiber Arts is the yarn. I'm all fingering, and Colorways are listed below if you're interested. I know that I got a really great price on this yarn at the time. There was a good sale. If you're not on Expression Fiber Arts email list, you should go there because they have good yarns at good prices, and they give really good discounts. Last thing I want to talk about. So I have no current finishes. Those were all of my whips. I have ordered only one thing this time. However, it's 6 skeins. This is also from Expression Fiber Arts. I think I'm going to need my glasses now because it is... I'm going to have to read this label. It is Frontier Fingering, 60% superwash merino, 20% mulberry silk, and 20% yak. So this is a bit, I have a feeling this is going to be, feel a little heavier in a shawl. The shawl that I'm planning to do with this is a brioche shawl. It is, again, by Jennifer Shiels, Toland. Did I say that it was... This is a, it came as a kit. Prairie Mist Hues is the colorway. So each of these do not have individual labels to tell me what colorways they are. But Prairie Mist Hues is the colorway of the whole thing. So there's this dark, dark purple. There's this lovely neutral tone tan. Then another neutral gray, and then sort of a more moody, darker purple, and this nice green, this mossy kind of, like a fern green maybe. And then the last one in the kit is this more lighter purple. So the kit has 3 purples, 2 neutrals, and a green. So there I am, continuing my purple and green whole mood. So I guess you'd call this the year of my purples and greens. I don't know. So kind of cool. I can't remember the name of the pattern. I feel like brioche was in the name. I have sort of drawn out the way that this thing is laid out. It's like a section of, I think it's garter, and then a section of brioche, and then garter, brioche, garter, and then the last section of brioche is a more complicated brioche. So the first 3 or 4 sections of brioche almost look like ribbing. Like it's just regular brioche, I guess you would call it. And then the last section of brioche has some twists and turns in it. So I thought this would be a good way to do some 2-color brioche and learn new techniques in brioche. Not that I've ever done a full project of brioche, but I thought that the way that this shawl is, it's like you're building the brioche skills as you go through, and then you get to sort of like your more advanced edge, which is of course the longest section of the shawl because it's the outer edge. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to learning this new skill. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, next I want to talk about the comments from my last video. I love seeing your comments. I love having this interaction with you as a community. The knitting community is so much fun to me, and I want to share with you what other people are saying about my videos. So, coming up. All right, friends, on to comments. I had to go downstairs and print them out because I forgot to do that before I started recording, and that's a new thing that I'm doing now. So, Wendy says, I noticed that the algorithm was changing too, because I didn't see that you had a new episode for 3 weeks from the time that it posted. So apparently I'm not just cuckoo bananas. They are changing the algorithm, and yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I have actually started changing how I watch YouTube, because I've always watched it on my TV, and I've like only to comment do I go on my phone. But within these last few weeks, because of the way that they have changed the algorithm, what I've been doing is I go on my phone and I go into subscriptions, because going into subscriptions on the TV itself is awkward, and it takes more time. It's not the same. So I go into the subscriptions on my phone and find episodes that I haven't yet seen of the people that I like to watch, and I put them in my watch for later. Now, the only thing that I'm not thrilled about with that is that you have to go and delete them from your watch for later after you've watched them, because otherwise they just stay in there. Which kind of makes sense. I would think that, like, if there are videos, like, let's say you have a workout video that you want to do and you want to do that same workout multiple times, you might want to leave that in your watch for later. Sandy says, for another resource for knitters and crocheters, libraries. Check library calendars or ask a librarian. Thank you, Sandy. Yes. There is a local library that does have a knit group that meets, I think, once a month. And I always miss it because I never remember which day it is. And whenever I look at the calendar, it's nowhere near that time. So one of these days I will get there. It'll probably be in the summer. I think that would be a good time to go. Although, who knows, maybe other people are out enjoying the weather, unlike crazy knitter fiend like me. I don't mind not being, I'll knit outside. That's fine. Anyhow, I also had a comment from Sheila. Hi, PK. Love your podcast. Thank you. Your makes are beautiful and your sweater you are wearing is lovely and the color is great on you. It's okay to be perfectly imperfect. Thank you for your podcast. All the best, Sheila. As far as being perfectly imperfect, I totally agree with that. I think that so many times, especially in art, I guess writing would be a form of art, but like at school with students, making mistakes, I think, is a great way to learn. I think, maybe I've mentioned this before, but there was a teacher I worked with at the last district I was with that every time she made a mistake while she was teaching, her students would cheer, because her thing was, mistakes are a good thing because they help you learn. Because usually when you make a mistake, you go, oh, I don't want to do that again. So I feel like those are the best learning moments. And, you know, it took time for me to see that this top was gonna kind of flop open and that I did want to add more to it. It takes making those mistakes to say, well, maybe next time I will pick up and do that neckline, because on the next one, it'll make me happier. And even looking at this top and the Joni top together, I could see that I had a bigger open neckline that I want. And the mistake with this sweater helps me with my next sweater. And that is the whole idea of being perfectly imperfect. Your imperfections help you to be more close to perfect the next time. The next one I want to talk about is, I had someone who I admire drop into my comments. Lynn of Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. So happy to see you here, Lynn. And congratulations on starting your own podcast. If you have not seen it, please hop over to Chicken Lady Fiber Arts when you're done with me and check her out. But Lynn said, glad you're finding a great use for your advent calendar. Making blanket squares is a great idea. Thank you. And then she talks about memories from her elementary school, because I had mentioned working at an elementary school wearing a sweater. I had that school smell on my sweater that I needed to wash. So she and I have very different recollections of school smells. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for stopping by again and spending some time with me. I hope you are currently enjoying your knitting as much as I am. I hope you are learning from your mistakes, or maybe you're smarter than I am and not making mistakes. So keep surviving, keep thriving, and have the best time with your summer makes. And I will catch you all on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.